Hello, everyone. Welcome or welcome back to Tea with Tokwase, where I serve you the hottest tea on the internet from TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, and sometimes X. Today, I'm not going to be serving tea. We're going to have a very serious discussion about reproductive rights. When I checked last, my target audience, or actually the people that have viewed my videos in the past few months, have been more than 80% women, which I'm really, really happy about. So I know we're going to have a very, very good and productive conversation in the comment section. And I'm hoping that we are very respectful and we have an actual healthy conversation down there. The catalyst of this particular video is Adriana Smith. And she's a 30-year-old woman that has been on life support since she was 9 months pregnant. And she's still on life support until today. And it is raising a lot of voices on TikTok. I don't want us to only focus on the United States because we in the United Kingdom also have very, very strict abortion rights and abortion policies actually that many of us do not know about. And I saw that also 30% of the people that watch my videos are in the United Kingdom. So it is very, very important, especially if you're a woman, that you watch this particular video. So watch some videos and listen to other people's perspective on this, and then we'll come back to have a conversation about it.
A metro Atlanta mother lies brain dead in a hospital room, being kept alive only because she's pregnant.
So her case is now raising a lot of new questions about Georgia's controversial heartbeat law. Adriana Smith's family says they've been forced to wait without a voice while doctors try to keep her body functioning long enough to deliver her baby.
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn is live outside of Emory Midtown, where Adriana was just moved hours ago. Cody, what have you learned about what's going on here?
Well, Jennifer and Ron, Adriana has been on a ventilator for the past 90 days. Now, as you mentioned, she was moved here just hours ago so doctors can deliver her baby when it is time. Her family visits her every day, including her young son, who believes his mom is just sleeping. A crushing emotional toll, as you can imagine. The family says it's been made worse because they have no say on what happens next. 30-year-old Adriana Smith was about 9 weeks pregnant when she started having bad headaches in February.
Enough to know that something was wrong.
April Newkirk says her daughter went to Northside Hospital for help.
They gave her some medication, but they didn't do any tests. They didn't do any CT scans. If they did, they would have caught it.
The next morning, Adriana's boyfriend noticed something was terribly wrong.
She was gasping for air in her sleep, gargling. More than likely it was blood. She was taken to Emory, Decatur, and then she was transferred here.
To Emory University Hospital, where Adriana worked as an RN. Unfortunately, there was nothing doctors could do.
They did a CT scan and she had blood clots all in her head. So they had asked me if they could do a procedure to relieve them, and I said yes. And then they called me back and they said that they couldn't do it.
Doctors declared Adriana brain dead.
I feel as if somebody dropped the ball at the hospitals, and her boyfriend asked, please keep her. If she was kept at the hospital, we wouldn't be here.
Because of Georgia's heartbeat bill, which bans abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected, her family says they weren't given any say in what happens next.
It's torture for me. I come here and I see my daughter breathing by the ventilator, but she's not there. And I'm touching her. And she has a son who I bring to see her.
Now, 21 weeks pregnant, her baby's health uncertain.
She's pregnant with my grandson, but my grandson may be blind, may not be able to walk, wheelchair bound. We don't know if he'll live once she has him.
A situation she says no one should be forced into.
It should have been left up to the family because I'm in my 50s, her dad is in his 50s, so we're going to have the responsibility with her partner to raise her sons, you know? And I'm not saying that we would have chose to terminate her pregnancy. What I'm saying is we should have had a choice. We should have had a choice.
It's likely doctors will not induce Adriana for at least another month. And it's not just the baby's health the family is worried about, also a medical bill. They say that continues to grow every day.
All right, Cody, thank you so much. We know you'll continue to follow this story. for us. And right now, under Georgia law, once a fetal heartbeat is detected, abortion is illegal, even in cases like Adriana's. In most states, decisions would defer to the mother or the next of kin, especially if the baby is unlikely to survive. But because Adriana is brain dead and no longer technically at risk herself, the law requires doctors to keep her alive until the baby can survive.
Before we go on, there's going to be a picture of Adriana in a blue dress holding her baby bump. I want us to know that that is not the picture of her current state now. That was when she was pregnant for her other son. So, but that has been the picture that has been circulating the internet, and that is also bringing up wrong information because people think that that's what she looks like. What she looked like when she went into the hospital. No, she was 9 weeks pregnant. I know 9 months pregnant.
When people ask me why I don't want to work in the USA, I would easily point towards the situation with Adriana Smith. If you don't know, Adriana Smith was a young lady who went into her local hospital with a headache. Probably got diagnosed with anxiety or something, but they ended up sending her home, and then she came back not long after because her headache turned out to be a blood clot or a bleed or something like that, and her brain had Jesusified. Now that is not the point of this story. The point of the story was that Adriana Smith was about 9 weeks pregnant. And despite the family of Adriana Smith having come to terms with what happened and wanting her to pass away peacefully, because of the whole situation with pro-life, pro-choice stuff in the USA right now, the doctors decided that they couldn't know what is right and wrong and decided to just keep her on vent until they could deliver the baby. She's been on a vent for over 3 months, and she's gonna be on a vent until that baby is viable, if it will ever become viable. Now, if you have had a family member or if you yourself have been on a ventilator, you know that being on a ventilator prolonged is just chock full of pressure sores, infections, organ failure, pain, constant pain. And that is what horrifies me the most, having to make such a decision to put someone through that. This woman got denied healthcare when she needed it, and now healthcare is being forced on her when she doesn't.
I need you to watch this video. I believe that Adriana Smith, the black woman that is brain dead and being forced to have a child in Georgia, is setting the groundwork for a concept known as whole body gestational donation. Concept where people that are brain dead but otherwise good physical health are used as incubators to make children. It sounds far-fetched, but it's not. It's something that's been talked about for over 40 years now. It was originally talked about by a bioethicist in the 1980s, and then in 2000 it was brought up again by an Israeli doctor. And recently another doctor brought it up again. And all of this is documented in the National Library of Medicine. The basic premise that's used is that dead people cannot suffer, and therefore they lack rights and autonomy to their own physical bodies. They've also said that women who have previously given their consent could be gestational carriers. And this is a direct quote, making use of an otherwise wasted resource. But it gets worse, because their entire reasoning behind it is 100% in the self-interest of other people. They mentioned that this could offset the expense of surrogacy, that people that want to be parents but can't, whether due to physical or financial reasons, could have their wishes fulfilled. Even though this is something that's been discussed for 40 years now, it does seem like there are more doctors that are against this than there are for it. Doctors have written rebuttals about the pain and exploitation that can come from assessing someone's autonomy during brain death.
In Season 3, Episode 9 of The Handmaid's Tale, of Matthew is declared brain dead, but Gilead doesn't let her go. They keep her body alive, just to save the baby she was carrying. She becomes nothing more than a vessel. Her life, her humanity is erased. And now, that's not just fiction. In Georgia, a woman was declared brain dead, but because she was pregnant, the hospital told her family they couldn't remove her from life support. Not for her, not for them, only for the fetus. And the same thing happened in Texas. In both Gilead and real life, we see the same terrifying idea, that a woman's body can be regulated, that her rights can depend on circumstance, that even in death, her wishes might not come first. It's not just a story anymore. It's a reality for some families right now.
We are truly living through a dystopian nightmare in this country right now. I'm Eliza Orland's career public defender for 15 years in Manhattan, and I want to tell you about what's going on with Adriana Smith. Adriana Smith was a 30-year-old nurse, mother, and black woman in Atlanta, Georgia. Back in February, when she was about 9 weeks pregnant with her second child, she went to the hospital with excruciating headaches. They gave her medication, and sent her home. They did not give her CT scans. They did not pay real attention to the pain she was describing, and she was dismissed like so many Black women. The next morning in her bed, her boyfriend found her gasping for air. By the time she was rushed to Emory Hospital, where she herself was a nurse, it was too late. She was found to be brain dead. This was now more than 90 days ago. But Adriana's body is being kept alive in the state of Georgia against her family's wishes because of Georgia's 6-week abortion ban. Doctors say that this law requires them to keep her alive until the child is viable, i.e. 32 weeks. She's now 21 weeks, and they believe that her fetus that is inside of her right now is probably not ever going to survive. But even in death, Adriana Smith is being denied bodily autonomy. In Georgia, there's a law which says that you cannot donate someone's organs without their consent, so even a corpse has more rights than a woman. This is not healthcare. This is certainly not pro-life. This is reproductive tyranny. This is denying the personhood of a pregnant person. MAGA extremists have passed these cruel laws, and now Adriana's family is being left to foot the bill. Adriana deserved care. She deserved to be believed, and now she deserves dignity in death. We cannot stay silent. If, like me, you're outraged, you can call Governor Brian Kemp. I will put his number both above and below. You can also call the Georgia Department of Public Health, and you can write to the legislators who supported this cruel bill and demand its repeal. I will have all of those details on my Substack. Please make sure you're following me for more, because the fight for bodily autonomy, it's not over, not even close. And it's coming to every state if we don't speak up now.
I don't think enough people understand what it truly means to be brain dead. Brain dead does not mean like, oh, you're in a coma, there's a possibility you could wake up, or oh, you're just a vegetable. Brain dead means you're dead. You're completely dead. The only reason that your heart is still beating is because you have a machine beating your heart for you. You have a machine breathing your lungs for you. You have medicine being pumped in you 24/7, keeping you from literally decomposing. They are forcing a child to be born from a corpse that is playing God, that is disgusting, that is sick, that is depraved. Not only will they not let this poor woman rest in peace, but they're forcing her grieving family to take care of this baby that's going to have all sorts of health issues because it was born from a fucking corpse. A corpse. How are more people not fucking outraged?
So the AJC just released an article about Adriana Smith's case. So in this case, the Attorney General has released a statement at the behest of Senator Parks, who is a state senator from Georgia, who wrote a letter asking what is going on here. So Attorney General has said, there is nothing in the Life Act that requires medical professionals to keep a woman on life support after brain death. Removing life support is not an action with the purpose to terminate a pregnancy. They are being very clear that, hey, we have this law in place, but the law says this is not what you're supposed to be doing. So now we know that it is the hospital, not in a kind of a catch-22. What do we do? What are we not allowed to do? But now it's like, this is what you're doing voluntarily. So we have some legs, the family has some legs to stand on to say that this is now illegal. Why are you doing this? And if they continue to do this, we can surmise that the hospital is serving someone's interest. The question is, whose interests are they serving? I still say that this is an experiment at the expense of this woman and her family's well-being, and that other states and other pro-life organizations are looking to see if they can get away with this kind of action. Someone else in the comments said that this happened in Ireland before, and it ended up that the woman's family was able to get justice and let her go on. But I heard someone else say that there had been talk about using women who were in comas as incubators, and that there hadn't been any data to support this. This would be the data. This would be the data.
I don't want us to think that this is just the United States. This is happening. These science is worldwide. People will use that information to make effects on every other country in the world, and they are starting from a black woman, which is what typically happens. But if you are not black, don't think that you are exempt from this, because this is where it starts from, but it usually typically spreads across every color. So don't think it is just happening to a black lady, so you can decide to keep quiet about it. It is definitely going to spread across when they get enough data. So now let's move to the United Kingdom.
Right here in Great Britain, women are facing life in prison for ending their own pregnancies.
Last year, a young mother who used abortion medication in a failed attempt to end her own pregnancy was dragged before the courts after her own medical team reported her to the police.
A 15-year-old girl was accused of an illegal abortion after suffering a stillbirth.
The police seized her laptop and phone during her GCSEs, and she was driven to self-harm.
This year, a woman was jailed for ending her own pregnancy. She is a mother to 3 young children.
What kind of a society?
What kind of a society?
What kind of a society treats women this way?
Under a law passed in 1861, it is a crime for a woman to end her own pregnancy at any point without permission from 2 doctors.
The crime carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment, the harshest penalty in the world.
Today, the number of women facing criminal investigation under this cruel and outdated law is increasing.
That's why it is time to take a stand.
It is time to stop subjecting women who have experienced pregnancy loss to years of criminal investigation.
It is time to end the prosecution of vulnerable women who have, in distress and desperation, attempted to end their own pregnancies.
It is time to act now.
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 Join the campaign.
Y'all are pro-life until that baby's born. Yeah, I said it, and I'm gonna piss some people off with this one, but let me paint you a scenario. Young girl gets pregnant, all right? And she tells everyone when she gets pregnant, listen, I can't afford this baby. I know I can't. I cannot provide for this baby financially what it will need. You tell her, you need to keep that baby. Okay, you need to keep that baby because that is a human life. And if you have an abortion, you are schmurdering a human life. You're taking a baby's life. So she keeps the baby, right? And then she walks into social services and says, hey, I need Medicaid because I need health insurance for this baby. I need food stamps because I need food for this baby. I need WIC. I need housing help. I need all of that. And you say, oh, well, my tax dollars shouldn't be paying to take care of your child that you decided to have. The same child that she told you from the jump, she knew she wasn't going to be able to afford. And now you're mad because she's asking for assistance and your tax dollars are paying for it. Come on now. Come on now. Right? Or the mom that's struggling with mental health and tells you, listen, I don't know if I can be a mom. I don't know if I can do it, right? Lives in a dirty house, doesn't take care of herself, the whole 9, all right? You tell her, you have to keep that baby. So she keeps the baby. CPS is removing the baby 6 months to a year later because the baby's neglected. It's not fed. It's not taken care of. It lives in a dirty home. You knew all that when she got pregnant and you still told her to keep it. And before you come in my comments and say, oh, well, she shouldn't be having sex. She shouldn't be doing what she knows can cause a baby. We're human beings, y'all. We all have sex. Like, let's be so fucking for real, okay? Shit happens. Do I believe abortion should be used as a form of birth control? Absolutely not. All right, that's a topic for a whole different video. But what I'm saying is when shit does happen, real life shit, okay, because we don't live in a perfect world. Real life shit happens, and a woman looks at you and says, I know that I can't take care of this baby or I can't afford it, and you tell her she needs to have that baby, then don't be mad when you have to take care of it with your tax dollars. Don't be mad when she asks for assistance. Don't be mad when that baby's placed in foster care. And also before you come in my comments and say, oh, well, she could give the baby up for adoption. We have a whole foster care system full of kids that aren't being adopted. So, with that being said, if you're going to be pro-life from conception all the way through after that baby's born, and know that you might have to take some responsibility for it. I said what I said.
My hottest political take is that the pro-life people who are so worried about pro-life things are the same people who are not worried about gun regulation, who are not worried about keeping children safe in schools, and are not worried about welfare programs or any programs that benefit the child's life once they are here. They are only concerned about them when they are in the womb.
Unpopular opinion, use my corpse to incubate my child. Use my corpse to incubate my child, please.
Unpopular opinion, no, it's a dystopian nightmare wrapped in your personal martyr complex. You volunteering your unalived body is your business, but this isn't about you. This is about Adriana Smith, a woman who didn't consent, who's being legally desecrated, reduced to a corpse incubator because of cruel, misogynistic law that says her humanity ends the moment sperm meets egg. You are not brave. You are just enabling a system that treats women as livestock, our bodies just vessels, even in death. Her family is grieving. Her life is over, but you're more concerned about a 9-week-old clump of cells with no consciousness than an unalived woman whose wishes are being trampled. That is not pro-life. That's state-sanctioned abuse. This is the Handmaid's Tale. So stop glorifying female suffering like it's divine. You're not a hero. You're the villain in someone else's story.
I live in a red state, and let me just say that if I'm being used as an incubator and my family no longer gets to make the decisions, this is my public service announcement for a mob to storm the hospital and rip my body from those machines and throw it on the steps of Congress. We're not even human to them. We're not even human, right? We're just vectors to create able-bodied workers to help fund their genocides and their yachts and their mansions. This has nothing to do with babies and being pro-life, and it is all about control.
Oh, I wasn't going to come up here, but I heard someone talking about how abortions are important because it takes babies out of the population. And I just wanted to say that by saying that, they are wanting to take out very important people. 4 years ago, I was by my father, and I chose not to have an abortion, and this is what came out of it.
I'm not even going to touch the fact that her son is her brother. I want us instead to focus on one part.
And I chose not to have an abortion.
Did you hear it?
And I chose not.
Again.
And I chose not.
One more time for good measure.
I chose.
You chose? It's almost like that's the entire point. Do I agree with your choice? No. Am I going to stop you from making it? No. The point could literally hit you people upside the head and you still wouldn't get it.
Should men have a say in abortion rights?
No. Men don't have to carry a child. Men don't really face any of the responsibilities.
Yes. This is Russell for Brute. I'm in Washington Square Park, and we're here to ask some men about abortion. Should men have a say in abortion rights?
No.
I think everybody should have a conversation, but I think ultimately, it's not up to us what to do. You can't tell someone what to do with their body.
It has nothing to do with us, It's just really all them. We're not the ones that's actually getting pregnant and giving the babies. That's not our choice.
Why do you think men should have a say in abortion rights?
Because men have a lot of power, and so they could make good laws.
No. I believe in my body, my choice.
Well, they should have say. No, they should only be able to talk to the woman. The woman is the one to make decisions because it's her body.
Perhaps in their own relationship, it's their child, but not as far as nationally goes. Yes, I do. I really do, because it takes two to tango, you know what I'm saying? That's his baby just as much as hers.
Everyone should have a say in abortion rights, women and men included. I don't think it should be a decision that should be made by one singular sex.
What do you think is the best way for a man to be an abortion rights activist?
They're not supposed to be there at all. No idea. Listen to what women say. Yeah. Respect women's rights.
Stand up for the people in his life who are fighting for the same cause and, stand behind it if he believes in it.
The only way is to support the woman. There's nothing they can do except for support her.
Men should be educated, I think they should be informed of the laws, the procedures, things that happen in those situations.
If the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, how do you think that would affect you?
As a man?
Yeah.
Sure, the same way they affect women. Right now they playing games with actual human beings. If they want to carry the baby, why not? If they don't, why not? That's their body, their choice. You know what I mean? I don't know if it would really affect me. Maybe the things I might do to someone else, but it's not. Even that doesn't really affect me selfishly. I think we would all feel some sort of ripple effect because we all have, moms and sisters and aunts that we all care for, and it's these should be essential rights for women.
The only way it would affect me is because it would hurt my friends. I know that because they're really upset about the issue right now.
That's one of those things that wouldn't affect me at all. But it would create a cultural environment that would create a lot of angry women
that would affect me.
Would affect me a great fucking deal.
I mean, directly at this time, I don't think it would affect me, but at some point down the line, it could. It could affect everyone.
This is your reminder that as a man, your opinion about abortion only mattered before your partner became pregnant. You had all the time in the world to ask them, if I get you pregnant, what will you do with the fetus? In which then you would decide whether to continue that relationship. After they're pregnant, their body, their choice.
As a man, if you know you don't want no kids, there's absolutely no reason that you should be out here busting nuts at people's daughters. Unless you had a vasectomy, and even then, you're still taking a risk. Literally, once you come in a woman, there's nothing you can do about what she does with what you put inside of her. That's completely out of your control. Is it right or is it wrong? That's not what I'm talking about. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is it's out of your control. What you can control is where you choose to nut. And if you haven't had a vasectomy, you should be and you know you don't want kids, you should be avidly using condoms, pulling out like your life depends on it. Oh, she said she was on birth control. That don't matter. You're putting your reproductive health in somebody else's. You're putting your reproductive future in somebody else's hands. If I got pregnant right now and I told y'all I'm pregnant because he said he would pull out, y'all would look at me like I was stupid. And that's how I look at a lot of y'all men. There's a 40-something-year-old man on my phone right now telling me how he has a 2-year-old, even though he never wanted kids because his ex got off her birth control and tricked him. I said, if you're 40-something years old and you know you don't want to have kids, why didn't you just get a vasectomy to ensure that you would never have any kids? He tells me that he's never going to let a surgeon cut anything on his body. Then goes on to tell me that he prefers and he's looking for right now a woman who doesn't want kids at all because she'll get her tubes tied or she'll make sure that she stays on birth control. So you want to shoot up the club willy-nilly and have the woman basically bear the entire responsibility of whether or not a child comes forth in this. You don't want nobody cutting nothing on your body, but you want a woman who's going to tie her tubes. Y'all are sickos. I swear to God, y'all are.
Nigel Farage says that abortion after 24 weeks is ludicrous.
I am pro-choice, but I think it's ludicrous. Utterly ludicrous.
Abortion after 24 weeks is already only legal in the UK under extreme circumstances. We're talking about rape, severe fetal abnormality, or risk to the mother's life. So which part of that is ludicrous? Do you know what I think is ludicrous? Men thinking they have any say over what we do with our bodies and making laws to restrict access to abortion. We've already seen what happens when politicians start dictating pregnancy timelines. Since Roe versus Wade was overturned in the US, we've watched in horror as women have been forced to remain pregnant against their will, regardless of whether they suffer or even die. We've read stories of underage girls being forced to carry their rapist babies. And right now, there is a brain-dead woman in Georgia being kept alive against her and her family's will because she died whilst pregnant with a 9-week-old fetus. She is literally an incubator, all because her state has stripped women of their reproductive rights. This is what happens when politicians interfere with women's health and bodies. Here in the UK, it's not as safe as you think. The National Police Chiefs Council has recently issued guidance telling police officers how to search women's phones, menstrual tracking apps, and even their homes following pregnancy loss if they're suspected of having an illegal abortion. Right now, abortion in England and Wales is still criminalised under a law from 1861. Yep, 1861, a time when women couldn't vote, own property, or even wear trousers in public. Knowing all of this, why would Farage want to restrict our own reproductive rights here in the UK, just as women's rights are being rolled back around the world? He's not trying to fix policy, he's trying to control women's bodies and drag us backwards. Is this what Farage wants for women? More restrictions, more criminalisation, more women forced to justify their abortions to strangers in courtrooms. Farage is not harmless. He's not just saying what people are thinking. He's a danger to women, to our autonomy, our privacy, and our lives.
This guy said to me, abortion going back to the states was a good thing because now each state can kind of make their own decisions on how they want to handle it. This might surprise some people, but I understand the logic here, and I actually kind of agree, because different states feel differently about it, and I think that they should be able to make their decisions on how they want to handle it. And I would take it even a step further. Like, if you look inside of the states, you'll have regions of those states that feel very differently about abortion, and I think that those different regions should be able to handle it differently with, like, autonomy and agency. And even if you look inside of the regions, like, there'll be 2 cities that'll be right next to each other. It happens all across America that, like, have vastly different opinions on abortion. I think that those 2 cities should be able to kind of handle it the way that they, even when you look inside of the cities, if you look like in the neighborhoods, you'll have 2 neighborhoods that feel very differently about abortion. And I think that those two, if you look inside of the neighborhoods, you'll have two houses that will be right next to each other. And both houses will have different ministries on abortion. And I think that they both should be able to, even if you look inside of the houses, there will be a woman inside of that house, and she will feel differently about abortion than another woman. And I think that she should be able.
To me, it all boils down to choice. If you decide that you want to have the child, you are free to have the child. If somebody else decides that that is not the best choice for her, she is free to have that decision or to have that choice. It's all about choice. That's what feminism is about. Everybody can make the decision. Don't make your own my own. Don't force me to do what you want me to do or what you would have thought I should do. And I will not force you to do what you... It's all about choice. Everybody should make their own decisions.